My name is Alexander Marquardt, and the name of my film is On the Run.
How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues?
Our product was of the action genre, and we challenged the conventions of that genre by not having the first few minutes of the film be action-packed and exciting. It was almost like a horror movie in the sense that we aimed to build suspense and build this atmosphere of tension in the scene. It also challenged the conventions of the action genre by not having the location, the lighting, be very dark and moody. It was very bright. For example, in the scene where we were driving to our location, the sunset cast these vivid colors on the scene, which we thought was very beautiful. Our product also uses conventions of the action genre and the lighting of our scenes filmed in the warehouse, which is very dark. And dark lighting is very typical of a contemporary action movie. Another convention of the action genre that we use is the premise of our movie, which is two rival crime syndicates pitted against each other. And the social groups that our film represents, not necessarily any modern social groups, but it calls back the social groups of the 20th century who are affected by crime syndicates and the mafia.
Your product engage with the audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text?
I believe that our movie grabs attention by drawing the audience in through suspense rather than action. It also calls back to classic movies, classic crime movies of the 20th century, such as the Godfather trilogy, Goodfellas, classic movies like that. And we want to appeal to that crowd, induce a sense of nostalgia in our audience. And how it would be distributed as a real media text? It would be distributed through platforms such as YouTube and Vimeo. YouTube in particular is obviously a very large platform with millions of users each day. And obviously that'd be very beneficial to us as it would engage the maximum amount of people.
How do your production skills develop through this project?
My production skills developed greatly throughout this project. In fact, by the beginning, I had little editing skills. And yet throughout the project, I learned how to edit in multiple video editing softwares. Audio production was a big part of editing, which I honed my craft of audio editing throughout this process, such as overlapping audio between clips so the transitions wouldn't be as jarring, for example, crossfades, balancing audio between two audio sources, such as music and the film clip. And titles was also another part that of editing that I learned throughout this editing process. How to make the title text disappear, the different fonts that could be used, the different locations that the titles can be placed on. That was a very important part of our movie. And I learned that throughout this editing process. Overlapping scenes, making the transition smoother with crossfades, that was a big part because we noticed that before we added crossfades in between scenes, the cuts were very jarring and unnatural. And so that was a big part of the editing process that we learned. And it really helped our movie in our editing process, the use of crossfades. Steadying shots. We utilized a good steady tripod in the filming of this, and that greatly helped the final product as we didn't have a cameraman to shake the camera around and have it be a very unnatural, strange video.
How did you integrate technologies in this project?
Well, one of the technologies we utilized in this project was WordPress.com, which tracked our progress and kept us on track, as can be seen through our project progress blogs. WordPress also was used to upload our final task, and will be used to upload this critical reflection video. So WordPress has been a very large part of this project and will continue to be. The camera, obviously, was a very important element, arguably the biggest element of this entire project, as the product wouldn't exist without the camera. And being used to filming on a phone, the camera it was a learning process, operating the camera, going through the footage, and editing it. So yeah, that was a big learning curve for me, as I'm used to filming and editing on a smartphone. YouTube was a very big help to us, as it was what we used to upload our final task And also, we drew inspiration from YouTube by watching film clips in the action genre. Netflix, I should also bring up Netflix too, as that was also used to watch films in the action genre, crime movies in the action genre, which helped us draw inspiration for our final task. And the tripod was a large part of the filming process, as without it, we would have to prop up the camera on something else, which would lead to a very unnatural, shaky shot, and frankly, it would look horrible. And internet. The internet was used throughout this entire process, through WordPress, uploading it to YouTube, and watching Netflix for inspiration for these videos. So many technologies were used throughout this project.